Hello, my little cubs and kids. Caddie here with you today, feeling rather fattening and capity and sleepy. And we have storyish time today. Now, this is about recorded media entertainment. All right, all starts off back when I'm a way little kid. We had a record player that my mother got us, a little junky one. And we had some records. Some of the 33s, I think they're the little ones with a big hole in the middle. You had to put a doodly in the middle to put on the record player. I don't remember any of the music. I just remember we had them. That was a thing we had. I think we just picked the ones we liked to play by the color of the disc, not the little label, not anyone we knew on the disc. So, yeah. But that's like my first media I owned. We also did have big records, but usually we weren't allowed to touch those. They're, well, nice. And those got played on the big stereo. As we grew up, pretty quickly, tapes became more of a thing, and I didn't own many tapes myself because I wasn't a big music head. I know my sister definitely owned a lot of tapes. My parents owned, a handful, maybe 30 at best. Um, but I would definitely say more of our tapes were copies than anything else. Uh, Dad had his thing rigged up where he could tape from his records onto tapes, and he also had a dual cassette player, so we'd borrow tapes from our friends that had tapes and copy them because nobody seemed to care about them, legally. So that's just how we had music. Um, so that was early entertainment. Later on, we did get a VCR. We mostly just used it to tape things off of television. And we had I remember when I was little and we first got it, we got one movie, we got E.T. Uh, and for the longest time, that was actually the only legit owned movie we had on tape. Every great once in a while, we get something like, say, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tape or Captain Power. But very rarely, we didn't really just buy movies on tape. We never did that. And at the time, later I realized part of that was because movies weren't coming out like they do now, that, 3 months after a movie's out, it's on media that you can purchase. Back then, that wasn't so much a thing. So growing up, we didn't have too many movies. We slowly got a few here and there, only if they were really important, like super, super critical movies that everyone wanted. Um, and even as I grew up and moved into my own space upstairs, and I got my own VCR and a couple of videotape drawers of my own, um, almost everything in them was taped tapes. No, hardly any purchase tapes. Star Wars was an exception. They were purchase tapes, but they came in 3-pack, already neat little box sets. They sat up top on their own. But the majority of my movies were things I taped off TV. There was a couple exceptions, like Jurassic Park was in my drawer, um, and a couple other things. But mostly, I tape stuff off TV because why would I pay $20 for a movie that's going to come out on TV another year later and I can tape it? I was more patient back then. Fast forward to when DVDs started becoming a thing, and I was no longer living anywhere near at home. I quickly started to accumulate a bunch of discs because they were coming out really fast. They were printing up old stuff that I wanted to have, and I went from 1 or 2 DVDs to 20 DVDs to probably 100 or so. Already, I thought I had a lot. Boy, was I not knowing yet. Because now, eventually, fast forward to got together with Autumn, got merged our lives and our media collections and found out how much movies we did have. So it went from 3-ish shelves on a small, shelving unit worth of movies, and the rest was the video game stuff, to quickly we had filled up one of those Walmart bookshelf, like the one behind me there. Actually, that's a skinny one. That was one of the wider ones, the older models, um, from floor to ceiling. I started to pile stuff on top of the other one because there was no space. Um, and then we got a Blu-ray player. You thought the world was downhill already. Oh wow, media just kept getting easier and easier to get. A lot of things were getting cheaper. DVDs, you'd start seeing the $5 bins were everywhere. We were picking up stupid stuff just because we wanted to see it again, and it was like, yeah, $5, why not? I've actually bought a couple movies a second time, and well, that just means I donated to my parents or my sister. So they only knew why I gave them free things. Well, actually, I told them why. I'm dumb that I bought them twice. Um, But nowadays, if it comes out on disc, I'm in the store once a week anyway. I look at the new releases, like, oh, there's a uh, new movie that's got some starry, war-y type action. Sure, why not? Oh, this new DC animated movie goes right in the cart. If a movie looks at all of interest, I probably pick it up because you don't go to the theaters, like hardly ever. Because why would I spend now like $20 for just to us to get tickets to get in to see a movie? When less than 3 months later, I can spend less than $20, own the movie, watch it in the comfort of my house as many times as I want. And I have a pretty good sound system at home too, so and a comfy couch to be on. And my popcorn doesn't cost, $5. I can buy a whole 2 liter of Pepsi for, $1.60 when it's not on sale. As opposed to like you know, $6 for a 32 ouncer at the theater. Yeah. So our movie collection went from that one bookshelf to some space on another bookshelf to now it's changed over to a giant DVD rack in the living room, which is pretty near full. Plus, a bunch of them went up to the one bedroom, the smallish bedroom. Um, all the Disney movies are up there and all the children's type movies. So therefore, relaxing time upstairs next to that TV. Uh, so media has just exploded in how much we are willing to pay for and keep. Now, I know a lot of things have gone streaming, and you have the option of having a digital variant. But as far as movie and stuff goes, video games, I prefer to have a physical copy, even if it does still require downloading and updating things. It does make me feel more like I own something. Because a digital something, if the server ever goes away, if the company ever goes away, you lose it soon. And I don't want to get zoomed out of my movie collection. Bad enough of my games live on Steam at this point because, well, I got good deals here and there. I mean, and the accessibility. Um, but like my Nintendo games, as long as they don't rot out, I have those. As long as my discs don't wear out, I have all my PS2 and PS1 games. PS3 and up, there's a good chance there's some downloadable content that may go away at some point, or accessibility period might go away. I'm not too worried about online play necessarily, but I'm more worried about the actual game functionality. I can plop in the disc for Final Fantasy 13, and it's still going to play the game Final Fantasy 13. I don't have to worry about did they delete that off the server? Did they turn off accessibility for PS3s to have online capabilities or something? No, still works. My game, my disc, ready to play. But definitely for movies, I like having the physical copy because what happens if the internet's ever down? I don't have any streaming service. I don't have any TV. I'll at least be able to put something in. And there's a legal way to own the movie as opposed to illegally downloading via torrents, which I don't do anymore because, well, I don't want to lose my internet access. And working in the security department where I am now, I know that happens. So I'm not going to risk that. I'm not dumb enough. I like my job, and I don't lose it for lack of internet because I was dumb. Anyway, that's my thoughts on media and the growth in my life. My little story there. They will continue to grow. I will continue to buy stupid movies, whether or not they're worth it. I already bought one last week. I was not happy with the new interactive Batman movie, which was actually just a retelling of the Red Hood with some frills and side stories. Mostly the same stuff, and you have to actually click buttons to watch it. Not worth my $20. Not worth my $20. So, how's your life in media, audio, visual, or otherwise? Did you collect stuff from when you were a little kid? Where did you start in the game? Were you a DVD baby? Were you a Blu-ray baby? Well, if you're a Blu-ray baby, well, you're young. Might not be, shouldn't be watching YouTube yet. Uh, did you, like me, get to be part of the beginning of the VHS saga? Did you have records? Did you have tapes? What did you have? I didn't have many CDs. I'll admit that. I had very few audio CDs, period, throughout my life. Um, yeah, that's the thing I just never did. I've still never been a big music person. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know about your media story below too. And if you're so inclined, my Patreon link in the description below. Any money you spend on it definitely has gone to support the channel, and I appreciate every single one of them. And I appreciate every single one of my patrons, especially those sissy puppies too, who are good boys and listen to these videos all the way to the end, so they'll hear this. You are a good boy, Trajan. Good boy, good boy. Such a sweet, sweet little sissy puppy. A little frou-frou. And, yeah. Thank you for paying attention to the silly lion. All fluffy and silly at you, and hope you have a lovely rest of your day. See y'all again real soon.